Okay, so the town of Goodman in Missouri was hit by a tornado on Wednesday, 5th of April 2017, which was 22 days before my 41st birthday, which is tomorrow, Thursday, 27th of April 2017. And I'm turning 41. Good has a value of 41, and so does Brat. That's just if you add up the letters according to their place in the alphabet. And my birthday is 13 days after Good Friday, and I've been talking about the number of days after Good Friday in relation to my birthday and also the date 30th of April and 1st of May. But what I haven't talked much about and haven't thought much about until yesterday was the fact that was the number of days after Jake's birthday for each of these dates. So I'm pretty sure now, because there was that tornado that hit Goodman on the 5th of April, and an EF3 tornado hit a place near Dimmitt in Texas on Good Friday. And that being an EF3 tornado is one of the more substantial ones in recent times. So I'm pretty sure that Jacob and Nathan's prophecy relates to a tornado, or to tornadoes. And when it's my birthday in Australia, up until 3 p.m, it is still Wednesday the 26th of April in the USA, which is 12 days after Good Friday. So it's interesting because 12 has a value of 87, and so does tornado. So Kid 11, Jake was 11 going on 12, Kid 11, 12, birthday, boy Daniel, boy Phil, Kink boy, named Jacob's Tornado. Bear boy, and these are the values, these are the number of days for each of these dates after Jake's birthday. So we have bear boy, boys bad, Easter. So let's just go with Easter equals 68. Jake's birthday plus 68 days is Wednesday 26th of April. Goodman equals 69, and Thursday 27th of April, my birthday, is 69 days after Jake's birthday, and that's the same every year except for leap years when it's 70. Kinky equals 70. Another word I could add just there is zombie, which is one of the first things I connected Jake to, was zombies, because he first came to me as a zombie boy in a dream. So, Kinky zombie, either way, 70 days after Jake's birthday, it is Friday, 28th of April, 2017. Sammy, one of the twins in the novel Red Rain by R.L. Stein. The more evil twin was Daniel. But Sammy equals 71, and 71 days after Jake's birthday, 17th of February, so we have a reflection there. And the date is Saturday 29th of April. Black equals 29, and Nathan Breeze, 13-year-old Nathan Breeze, died on Black Saturday 2009 in the bushfires. Sadist, Waldberg, Hitler. Jake's birthday plus 72 days equals Sunday 30th of April 2017. That's 16 days after Good Friday, but even more interesting when I think about it now is the fact that that's the anniversary of Adolf Hitler's death. And bang, Hitler is the number of days after Jake's birthday. Eagle. Eagle was a Nazi symbol, but it's also an animal that I've always associated Jake with, even before I knew he made a papier-mâché bald eagle back when he was in primary school or elementary school. And the final date that I've flagged is the 1st of May, Jake's birthday plus 73 days equals Monday, 1st of May 2017. And that is 17 days after Good Friday. Of course, Jake was born on the 17th. So, boy Jacob, Jake's code, 73. So, I've had a pretty strong feeling that there is definitely something in this. And I wouldn't have put so much work into all these videos had I not had a strong feeling. And it's interesting now looking at the American weather sites. This one's Weather Underground, as founded by Jeff Masters. Prolonged severe threat. Flood risk as April segs into May. So this was published today, April 26th at 1:43 a.m. And it's not even the 26th of April yet in Minnesota. So it really depends. It depends where you are in America. It's only just America though. Just Wednesday in America. So yeah, it's just describing there the photo above. And again we have the date. I've just noticed this. April 30. And this was a tornado that hit Tuscaloosa in Alabama. It was an EF4. Part of the... So this was photographed on April 30 after the April 27 super outbreak, which caused $2.4 billion worth of damage in the United States. And it's the kind of damage that was left behind. That was an EF4 tornado. So, you know, when you get up to EF4, it's just wholesale destruction. Never mind EF5. So, as the United States approaches its mid to late spring peak of severe weather season, the atmosphere is responding in classic fashion. A very strong, broad, and slow-moving upper-level trough will grind its way across the nation over the next week, bringing a multi-day, multi-threat sequence of tornadoes, hail, high wind, and very heavy rain. The Storm Prediction Center has some of the nation targeted for a severe weather risk on every day from Tuesday, April 25 through Sunday, April 30. The stormy weather could extend into the first week of May. So, while this is the most dangerous time of the year in America for outbreaks of supercell thunderstorms and tornadoes, even so, the threat over the coming week is looking extreme. So that's the map of tornado risk for April 26 and for April 27, which is my birthday. So, but of course when it's my birthday in Australia, it's still the 26th in America. Up until 3 p.m. Up until 3 p.m. in New South Wales. And that's when it hits midnight in Minnesota and Texas. A tough stretch on the calendar. Climatologically, the last week of April and the first few days of May are a dangerous period when it comes to US severe weather. One of the nation's two worst tornado outbreaks on record, the 2011 super outbreak, unfolded across the southeast US from April 25 to 28. 5 of Oklahoma's 10 deadliest tornadoes have occurred in the 16-day span between April 25 and May 10. This includes the nation's first billion-dollar tornado on record, the EF5 monster that tore across Moore and neighboring parts of Oklahoma City on May 3, 1999, destroying more than 8,000 homes and killing 36 people. The atmospheric juxtapositions taking shape later this week especially towards the weekend, bear many of the hallmarks of a prolonged, significant round of severe weather. CIPS guidance from St. Louis University, which uses automated algorithms to compare model-based forecasts to prior events, suggests that the best historical analog of the large-scale setup on Friday is the one that prevailed early on April 26, 2011, during the early stages of the 2011 super outbreak. No analog is perfect, and subtle variations can make a huge difference in the weather that develops. But simple pattern recognition tells us that the ingredients needed for a major outbreak will be available late this week. It's mainly a question of how and where those ingredients come together in time and space. Where thunderstorms end up being densely packed over a large area, the threat will skew more toward heavy rain and flooding, whereas more isolated supercell storms will carry a bigger threat for tornadoes. So either way, America's in for a rough time over the coming week, and I'm pretty sure the prophecy that I've been putting together for Jacob and Nathan, that is Jacob Wetterling and Nathan Breeze, is on the money and worth paying attention to. So that's going into the atmospheric dynamics at the moment. I'm not going to go into that, that's getting too technical, but I'm going to continue reading the article. High contrast. Surface temperatures will soar above 80 degrees Fahrenheit from Dallas to Fort Worth, Texas, to Washington, D.C. by the weekend, which would approach, if not exceed, record daily highs at many sites. Meanwhile, a pool of unusually cold air within the broad upper level low will overspread much of the nation. Several of inches of snow may fall by Saturday in Denver, Colorado, where 2016-17 has been on track for Denver's least snowy winter in 135 years of record keeping. So only 19.4 inches of snow has fallen so far in Denver compared to a record low of 21.3 inches in 1888-89. And that there is 89. Interesting coincidence again, because that was the year when Adolf Hitler was born. And it was also the year when a boy named Ralph Morris was born in Australia. I've talked about him in some of my prior videos. So there you go, the massive difference in air temperature that's coming. And this is for April 25. And the forecast is for Saturday, April 29. So massive differences in temperature. Accompanying the early season heat over the southeast will be an increasingly rich supply of moisture feeding north from the Caribbean and Gulf of Mexico. By Saturday, a corridor from Texas to Ohio is projected to be swathed in an air mass featuring 1.5 inches to 2 inches of precipitable water, that is the amount of moisture in the atmosphere above a given point. Such values would be close to the highest on record for so early in the spring and summer. The warmth and moisture building at low levels will lead to very strong instability as the powerful cold upper trough sweeps across the region by the weekend. Moreover, the slow motion of the upper trough, together with ample moisture, will stoke the potential for very heavy rainfall across a large region centered on the Mississippi Valley. We'll be monitoring the situation here at Category 6 as this stormy-looking week unfolds. So, yeah, people in the United States need to prepare for potentially some very, very, very dangerous weather, including potentially tornadoes and flooding on a very, a life-threatening situation for sure. How to protect yourself against this sort of stuff, I don't really know. Tornadoes are one of the worst types of weather, I think. One of the most violent, deadly, and they can just pounce on you, basically. So yeah, for this to be coinciding like this with what I've been working on for the last some time, I think is definitely worth paying attention to. I certainly would be if I lived in a zone, a region that is going to be marked as under threat. I'd be taking every precaution to stay safe.